Well. I keep saying well. But anyway. Oh, yeah, privacy updates, what have you not. Windows 11 for free in a virtual machine is actually really fucking amazing. I downloaded VirtualBox version 7. I think you need the version 7 because it has the whole secure boot, the TPM and all that shit. And you just go and download plain old ISO with Windows 11 on it, plop it in, install it, set up a free Outlook account. That's what I did. Use that to log in, not activate, but log in to Windows, and you're now running Windows 11 for free with all of the things that you can do. There are, of course, some restrictions. We might as well just go into them right away because a lot of you guys and girls out there may be like, oh my god, you can only run Windows 10 for free. No, you can also run Windows 11 for free with the same restrictions as Windows 10. It's basically like running Windows 10. Windows 11 is not Windows 10. There's a lot of things under the hood that's not the same as Windows 10. It's not Windows 10 with a different theme on it. They didn't just paint, some process and say, oh, let's call it Windows 11. There's actually a lot of technologies that are different, both in the UI, APIs, and all that shit compared to Windows 10. If you're a Linux user, Windows 10 user, and you want to keep up with what's going on with Windows 11 and gauge to see if it's something you want as a secondary operating system or on a secondary machine and stuff like that, why not just set up virtual machine? Of course, if you know how to do that, or if you have a spare computer, install Windows 11 and don't pay for a license. Just, use the free version of it, so to speak. I'll just go in here to, I think it's, where is it? Like personalization. This is basically where you go into a lot of limitation. It's the customization. You can run Windows 11 just like Windows 10. Almost with no restriction at all, as a gaming station, media station, editing station, all of those things. It's when you want to customize it, personalize it. Plus a few other things, but mostly when you want to customize it and personalize it, as you can see here. You need to activate it. But the thing is that most people don't really customize the environments that much. I know us Linux nerds, we love fucking hunting down the perfect theme and the perfect little icon set and make it look like we are fucking hackers from the universe of, I don't know, somewhere in the Milky Way. But most people, they just use what's the defaults are. If there's a dark theme, they may enable it. Like here, they may go in here and enable one of these things, and that's it. They do, however, change the wallpapers, and you're like, oh, you stupid idiot. Why are you not using the default wallpaper? What is this magic? Well, it's actually really fucking good magic. It's good old Bing wallpapers. If you want this, let's go and open the good old web browser here. You just do Bing wallpaper app. And you can download it. And now you can't set your own wallpaper, but at least you get a fresh wallpaper each day on your machine. And for many people, that's enough. I've run Windows 10 in a virtual machine like that for over a year. And I actually love it. I use it to mess a little bit with the, Windows, of course. But I was about to do some Electron development, but really didn't got time to it around it. But I set it up as an Electron development suite and did a little bit of Python and a little bit, video recording and stuff like that. And not to look at the same boring old wallpaper and, want to poke my eyes out, I installed the Bing wallpaper app. So I got a fancy wallpaper once a day. Actually really nice. So yeah, if you can live with these limitations, I am running full-blown Windows 11 in a virtual machine. There is one thing that we can or I have noticed, is that Windows 10 and Windows 11 in virtual, at least VirtualBox, don't run the best. Are they usable? Yeah. Are they a little bit sluggy sometimes? Yeah. If I run Linux in a virtual machine, it's almost like running on a bare metal. You barely notice a difference. I do notice a little bit of a difference because you guys and girls out here, you are actually being recorded on a Windows 11 machine, and I do feel a little bit of a difference. However, I do give it 4 cores and 8 gigs of RAM. In my opinion, that's the minimum you should run any modern operating system. I want to do the same with my Linux virtual machines. Any modern operating system, I give it 4 cores, 8 gig of RAM. Because the second you open up a browser or whatever the fuck it is, the RAM will start to getting eaten up. It just they eat it like a fucking fat kid eat cakes in a cake store. Without that, as you guys can see here, it runs really neatly. Let's see all of these fucking notifications here. I will say one thing that bugs me is I can't get a dark, and there are probably ways of hacking that in the registry and stuff like that. And you can see here device security, app control. Let's actually these setting block potentially unwanted apps to turn off. Your dice may be vulnerable. I have no idea what this is. Oh, yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah. A lot of these warning here is because I have not bought and activated Windows 11. That's a lot of them is here. So with core isolation here, if you go into core isolation, they want you to... here's what you do. You do this. It's not bugging you anymore. I don't use core isolations. If you don't want to know what that is, I talked a little bit about it in the previous video. I don't use core isolation on my physical hardware. To me, it's a little bit like a enterprise feature, like if you're on a workstation, a server and stuff, that core isolation could be a good idea. But it's actually a really, really good experience, as you guys and girls and robots and aliens can see out there. You can see it is a little bit sluggish because I'm not doing TPU pass-through or anything like that, but it runs quite well. Like, I could definitely... like, it's a little bit like an underpowered laptop, I would guess. You know? We'll look at it a little bit like that. Like, you're running a little bit of an underpowered laptop. Do I have anything I need to... that's not the one I want. Oh, I'm going really crazy here. Downloads. Yeah, I have the VS Code. Did I even install that? No, I didn't. Let's install that. So we can set up Virtual Studio Code here. While I'm talking to you peeps. You can see here, it's native experience. Let's create a desktop icon. Installing Virtual Studio Code, and then I could go in and code my heart's content. I can do all of the neat C#, C++, .NET, Python, Java, JavaScripting, all of the fucking shit that you want. You can do that without paying a dime under Windows 11. You lose some customizability. They do take telemetry. They do a little bit of privacy collection. But if you go in here and you go into Windows security, you can actually turn a lot of it off. If I go down here to Windows permission and we go into diagnostics and feedback, you can turn a lot of this off. You can see I've already done that. Feedback we can see, so I could go in here and do never, for example. And we can go in here and speech, you know, you can turn a lot of this off if you don't want that. You can turn all, you cannot turn it 1000% off, just like under Linux. Linux is still phoning home. You know, Linux has localized services running. It knows where you are in the world for its automatically clock settings and stuff like that. A lot of the things that Windows 10 and 11 is sending back to back-end services, Linux distributions do the same in form of the applications on the Linux distribution do the same. So if you're running GNOME and you have a weather app, well, it's sending your localization to the web app developer. If you're having an automatic time, a time that automatically syncs to your local time, it's sending localization service data back to the developer of that app, or to GNOME or KDE or whatever services you're using. And the same with telemetry. Linux, the core system of Linux may not do it, but a lot of the programs that you are using under Linux, Firefox, Chrome, even a lot of open source programs are sending telemetry back to the developers. It could be for Bash, not Bash. Bash them in the face. Crash reporting and stuff like that. That's telemetry. That's data exchange between you and a third party. That's basically what telemetry is. Data collection, you cannot 100% turn it off under Windows, but you can turn 90% or 95% of it off, which still give it probably 4% more than Linux. And so why 4%? Well, Linux also do a little bit of data collection. It's not in personal data collection, just like a lot of Windows is not personal data collection, but they still do a little bit data collection. A really good example here is that if you go into let's just open see if I can find a terminal here, just to show you guys that. So let's pretend this is Linux. So if you do like a sudo apt update, you are now doing data collection, data exchange. They are looking at your computer and your package index file, for lack of better words. And they're like, okay, what packages do you have installed on your system? send that or sync or compare that to the package in the package version or the packages in the repo, another man's computer basically, and say, oh, these packages are updated, so they're sending a little hash back to you and say, oh, you need to upgrade these packages, and then it wants to do sudo apt upgrade. That's data exchange. It's the telemetry and data collection because they're collecting data from your machine and comparing it to data on another man's machine. It's just about who do you trust that has your data. They may not store your package list on their server, but they're still being data exchanged. And this here is probably a direct correlation to that Linux is free. You don't have to pay for it. Competition is fucking amazing. If you're a Linux fanboy, if you're a Windows fanboy, you want Linux to become more competitive with Windows. You want Windows to become more competitive with Linux because you will get a better product. When there is a competitive environment, the consumer wins. Windows 11 Pro for free. I can now go in and activate the Windows subsystem for Linux and all that shit, and I don't need Linux at all if I was like developing or administrating Linux servers. Go try this out. Download Windows ISO. Open up a virtual machine or secondary computer. Install good old Windows 11 on it. Use the Pro version. I recommend it for home use. If you are a technical user, go for the Pro version. And go fucking nuts with Windows. Learn Windows again. If you're a Linux user and you've been using Linux for 5-10 years and you have not opened a Windows machine since then, now you don't have an excuse to figure out how Windows really works. Go nuts. I recommend everyone, even fucking Windows and FreeBSD users, put Windows in a virtual machine. Because then you know what you're talking about and you're not just spewing, information out that you have not validated yourself. See you all later. Bye bye.